In this video, I'm going to show you how to do basic animation in Premiere using text masks and keyframes so that you can make your own animations similar to this one that you've just seen on screen. In the last video, I showed you how to make this simple text box that automatically adjusts to the text that you type into it. We used a basic feature called responsive design for position, and I'm going to run through these steps really quickly because we've covered them before. And if you want the detail on how to make this box that auto sizes, then watch that video, which is linked above. To start off, I have this 4K 25 frames per second sequence open in my timeline, but you can work with pretty much anything. So let's just enter some text to get us started. And we're going to extend this out to 6 seconds, approximately. As well as the timeline, we're going to be using the Effect Controls panel and also the Properties panel. So if you don't see those on your screen, you can go to Window and make sure that Effect Controls is checked and also that Properties is checked, and they should appear then on your screen. In the Properties panel, add a new layer, which is with this little icon, and choose Rectangle. Click on the shape name and rename it to Mask. Let's uncheck the fill just so that we can see more clearly how to get the right size for the mask that we're going to apply to this text. You can move the mask by dragging the corners to make sure that it covers all of the text, and we now have a text mask. If you go down to the bottom of the Properties panel, we can pin that rectangle that we created to the text, and if we click in the center of this box, that will pin it on all sides. This is what keeps it always exactly the same size as the text, even though we add more or less text into the box. We can now check the fill again, and we can also check the box that says mask with shape, and we've now turned it into a mask. I want this mask to expand from the left hand side, so I'm just dragging the anchor point for the mask right over to the left hand side, and the anchor point controls where an object would rotate from or where it would scale from. You can see if you alter the scale that you can only see the text where it is revealed through the mask. So we're going to uncheck the link between the horizontal and the vertical scales, and you'll see now that as I lower the horizontal scale, the text reveals from the left hand side because that's where we placed the anchor point. So I just want to type 100 back into each of these to reset the mask the way it was originally. And I want to group these two layers together, so select them both and click on this icon that will create a group with those two in it. And if you again click on the group name, you can change it to text with mask. We now have those two items grouped together, and the mask will only apply to the text and not to anything that is below that particular group. Let's now create the background box. Again, click on the new layer button and create another rectangle. Click on the name and call it box. Let's change the color of the box to something that we would prefer. So let me just OK on that. Let's uncheck the fill just so that we can again put the box to the position and size that we would like it to be. I now want to move the anchor point into the middle of this box because that's where we're going to want it to animate from. So we can drag a couple of guides into the center based on the midpoints of each side, and that allows me then to drag that into the middle. You can see that when you're dragging the box, it changes into that little icon that shows the crosshairs. So that is now the anchor point for the box placed nicely in the center, and we can go back to the view and clear the guides. By the way, if you didn't see the ruler to drag the guides out, you can just make sure in the view menu that you show rulers, and then you can drag a guide out from the side and from the top. But for now, we'll clear them. Let's drag the box layer down to the bottom so that the text appears above it, and we can recheck the fill. You now see that the text appears over the top of the box. We want the box to maintain its size according to the size of the text. So we do that in the responsive design for position at the bottom and select the text that is here. Click on the center of this shape, which sets all four sides, so it's going to maintain its position on all dimensions exactly as the text is. Let's now create the outline to the box. So I'm going to create another new layer. Click on the new layer and then rectangle. We've again got the shape up here. Click on that and change it to outline. Let's change the color of that to be white, so we can do that by typing in 6Fs. We've now got a white box. Let's drag it to the bottom, and I'm going to uncheck its fill so that we can see the corners and get it positioned correctly. I'm just going to position it so that it's slightly wider than the text box. I'm going to recheck its fill, and we can now just adjust it carefully to get this exactly the size of outline that we want to have. So just taking the two corners, drag them until they just look about right on the outline. We now have it correctly formatted to be just slightly larger than the box and show through on the edges. And again, I'm going to go down and pin it to the box so that it always will stay the right size and show on the outside. Now, you might be wondering why we didn't use stroke for that. Well, there are reasons why that doesn't work just as well. The dimensions don't stay exactly as we would like them to. But here I'm going to pin this to the box on all sides, and we now have a text box that we can begin to animate. I'm going to start with the animation of the text mask. So I'm going to go to Effect Controls, and I'm going to look for the text mask, which is this shape that's here. Just need to expand that by clicking on its little arrow, and I'm going to show that by changing the horizontal scale of this, we can fill out the text. I'm going to allow for 1 second for the box to animate, and then at 1 second we want to start the text animation. To go to 1 second, you can either drag the playhead to 1 second, or you can just type in 1.00 into the program counter and it'll take you directly to 1.00. And then we can animate the horizontal position of the mask by clicking on its little stopwatch. And we want it to start at 0. So I'm going to just drag that right down to 0. So that's the starting point for the text. In the same way, I'm going to go to 2 seconds. So that'd be 2.00. In the program counter, we're now at 2 seconds, and I'm going to change the horizontal size to 100. So I'll just click on that and type in 100, and that is the text fully revealed. So you can see that as I move along, it reveals the text inside the box. We're going to start the animation out at 4 seconds. I'm just going to go to 4 seconds, just drag the playhead along to there. I'm going to put in a keyframe at that point. Then I'm going to go to 5 seconds, and I'm going to put in another keyframe. I'm going to change that down to 0. So what's going to happen is that the text is going to animate in at 1 second. It's going to animate out at 4, and it's going to have finished by 5. And that allows us then to animate the box in and out outside of that. So I've gone back to 0, and we now want to do the animation on the box. Let's open up the box in Effect Controls. Just scroll down to get what we need here. I'm going to animate the scale by clicking on the little stopwatch by scale. And I'm going to uncheck uniform scale because I'm going to animate this by controlling the vertical and horizontal scale independently. Uncheck that and check horizontal scale. So we've now got keyframes in for both of those. I'm going to set them both to 0 to start off with. Now I want to go to 10 frames. So I'm going to type 0.10. Here we've gone out to 10 frames, And I'm going to add in keyframes both to vertical and horizontal because I want the vertical scale now to move up to 100%, but I don't want the horizontal scale to have moved at all. I'll now go to 1 second into that 1.00 into the program counter, and now I will add a keyframe to each, but I'll move the horizontal scale up to 100. So now what we have is the outline appears to its vertical height, and then we get the box expanding to its full width, and then we reveal the text within the box. And then we're going to reverse that when we get to 4 seconds. I think we'll reverse the animation on the box. So I'll put in keyframes to keep them where they are. I'll move another 15 frames further on the timeline. So that would be 4.15. And here I'm going to put in 2 keyframes, but I'm going to reduce the horizontal scale to 0. And then I'm going to move a further 10 frames, which will take us up to 5 seconds. And I'm going to change the vertical scale to 0. Now I've just realized that I've done this all a second early. So I should have done this starting at 5 seconds. So I can easily fix that by just selecting all of these and dragging them over so that I've moved them to 5. So we've now got everything happening, and I've now got room to make the text animate out at 4 seconds. We did that earlier. Now we've got the full animation in place. Starts off by expanding up out the box, revealing the text. As we move forwards to 4 seconds, it starts to animate out or mask out the text, and then reduces the scale of the box, and out it goes. Now the next thing that we might want to do here is just to make these animations look a little bit smoother. So we can do that by clicking, we're on the text at the moment, so we can click on the first keyframe and ease it out. Click on the second one and ease it in. Click on this one and ease it out as it starts to disappear, and ease in to the 0 position. We can now go down and do the same for the box. So if I just go back to check what's happening here, I can ease that one out. I can ease that one in. I can ease that one out. And I can ease that one in. And now that if I just press the space bar, you can see that that is a much more natural animation. We can do the same here as we move out. So we want to first of all take the horizontal scale, and we want to ease that out. That's where it eases out to. So we'll ease into that position, and we'll do the final 2 keyframes for the vertical position. Now I'll play the entire sequence. And you can see that that looks perfect. I want to do one final thing, and that is I would like to have this so that we can change the duration that the text stays on screen. And we do that using responsive design for time. It's fairly simple. Just go to properties, make sure that nothing is selected. We need to make the intro duration 2 seconds and the outro 2 seconds as well. Press 2 into each of those, and you'll see now on our timeline that there's an area that is protected at the beginning and an area that is protected at the end. That means that when we scale this graphic, the beginning and the end are protected, so they don't change, but the duration that the text is on screen in the middle is protected. So let's make it on screen for a short time. Press the home key to move to the beginning, show the animation. It didn't stay on screen very long. So now you've made the complete animation. You can change anything you want on this and it will work just perfectly. So if I was, for example, to change the amount of text that's here, you can see that the box retains all of its features, and all of the animation will just work perfectly as it did before. You can change anything that you want here. You can change the fonts, you can change the colors, you can change the size of the outline, anything that you want to do. So I hope that you've learned something about how to animate in Premiere, and really you can do it whatever way you want and apply your own style and your own thoughts to it. The final thing that you might want to do is to right click on the graphic that you have created and export it as a motion graphics template. Then you can give it a name, caption, auto caption, just press return, and it will, you can save it to whatever library you want or into your local templates folder. When you do that, it will appear in your graphics templates. So this is the auto caption here. If we want to add this to any video that we've already got, you can simply take that, add it on, and everything is just exactly as it was when you saved it. And you can change the text, change the colors, do whatever you need to do. You've got it in your library to use in your projects as you wish. So I hope that you learned something from this. Hope you found it useful. And if you did, please give the video a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.